Welcome to Empowered with Elizabeth Namofsky. Have you ever heard of the term financial inclusion or even microfinancing? And why are these two is so important to women? Today I'm speaking with Caroline Munshaw, who's the Director of Philanthropy Ontario at Opportunity International Canada. Now, on their website, they explain what they do so succinctly and beautifully, I needed to use it for the intro. What they do, they empower families to leave poverty behind for good. They provide financial products, services, and training, along with paths toward new lives filled with strength, hope, resilience, and the power to achieve their dream. So let's begin. Caroline, thank you so much for joining us today. So let's begin. What is financial inclusion?
Well, thanks so much for having me, Liz. I'm so excited to be here with you and having this important discussion. So financial inclusion is when people have access to affordable financial products and services that meet their needs. And access is the key word. This is central to Opportunity's work. So the women we work with are marginalized, and because of their level of poverty, they're not able to access traditional banks. Sinaida, a Honduran woman, had a dream to own her own taxi rather than renting one from a friend. She told us that other financial institutions took one look at her and would not give her a loan. They didn't want to hear about her experience or her business ideas. She said that her appearance made them reject her. Opportunity's partner in Honduras welcomed her into the branch and listened to her. Thanks to the microloans Sinaida has received, she now owns 2 taxis, renting one of them out to another driver, generating more income for her family. Sinaida uses the other car as a taxi and also provides a meal delivery service. So through this access to loans, Sinaida was able to realize her dream and is now a thriving, successful businesswoman. Isn't that a gorgeous photo of her with her taxis?
You know what? It's an incredible story. And you and I both know why financial inclusion is so important. But for those who don't, why is it?
Well, it's so important that financial inclusion features in 8 of the UN's 17 Sustainable Development Goals. So when people are left outside the financial system, they lose out. So cash is not secure and is not earning interest. And if they can't access capital, it's very difficult to grow their businesses. So Sinaida could have continued renting out a taxi from her friend, but now she's able to better provide for her family and has created an income source for another woman. And imagine the sense of dignity she now feels as a businesswoman who's been able to access and repay those loans. So the ripple effect is just incredible.
Well, it's extremely empowering. And then they have the opportunity to give back to the community as well, which, it's an incredible way to live your life. Now, I want to talk about how are we progressing towards ensuring everyone has that access to financial services and that empowerment and the ability to give back to the community.
Mm-hmm. So we are progressing. It's incredible. So worldwide, 76% of adults now have access to a bank account. And that's up from 51% in 2011. So women have historically been disproportionately excluded from the financial system, as we know, but the gender finance gap has been narrowing in recent years, which is very encouraging. But I'm sure we can all share stories of women in Canada being excluded from the financial system, and now they have worked out ways to access or even change the system. I'll never forget hearing at CEO, now Corrales, that a woman seeking financing for her business was asked, "Great business idea. Now, what are you going to do about the fact that you're a woman?" What kind of a question is that?
I just have to shake my head. I'm sorry.
Right, exactly, right? Just what is that even quite? And that's just a few years ago. That's not 20 years ago. That was not the 1960s. That was just a few years ago. So we are progressing with making sure that everyone is included, but there are still clearly many barriers women are facing. So that woman that was asked that outrageous question was educated, has experience, lived in a city in North America. So just imagine the difficulty accessing financial services if you're uneducated, maybe you live in a rural area, perhaps you can't read or write, and maybe you don't even have ID, and there are no jobs. How do you feed your family? So we believe, right?
Yeah, no, please continue.
So we believe microfinance, a sustainable solution to poverty alleviation, is the way. So we've been providing access to financial services to marginalized people for over 50 years. And the industry started as microcredit and has evolved into microfinance, providing access to savings and insurance as well. So we found that access to a safe place for savings is one of the most important products for people.
So let's end on that note, the most important product for people. So when we come back, we will discuss more microfinancing in a moment. So please don't go away.